Hi, I'm Natalie, 34, and my story begins 10 years ago, when my sister, Amanda, unexpectedly left her 3-month-old baby on my doorstep and disappeared. My parents coldly refused to help, saying, "She's a burden to you." I raised my sister's daughter, Lily, as my own, building a beautiful life together. Then suddenly Amanda returned with her parents, suing for custody, accusing me of tearing the family apart. Today in court, I handed the judge a sealed file. His eyes widened in surprise as he asked, "Do they know what you have?" I just nodded. Before I continue, let me know where you're watching in the comments below. If you've ever been betrayed by your family, please like and subscribe. Make yourself comfortable, because the story of how I fought for my heart's child will show you the true meaning of family. Before Lily came into my life, I thought I had it all planned out. I was a pediatric nurse at Memorial Hospital, recently promoted to shift leader, and in a 2-year relationship with Mark, an architect I met through mutual friends. We had begun talking about moving in together, and life seemed to be on the perfect trajectory I had dreamed of. Everything changed on a rainy Tuesday night in October. After a 12-hour shift, I came home, kicked off my shoes, and sat on the sofa with a glass of wine and a takeout. The doorbell rang around 9:30, and I barely paid it any attention, thinking it was just mail or a misdirected address. When it rang again, I reluctantly got up. What I saw changed my life. A baby car seat sat in front of the door, covered with a thin blanket to keep out the rain. Pulling the blanket back, I saw a tiny baby girl, about 3 months old, with rosy cheeks and a touch of silky black hair, just like my older sister, Amanda. Pinned to the seat was a folded, handwritten note. I recognized the writing immediately. "Her name is Lily. I can't do it anymore. Please take care of her. I'm sorry." 7 words that changed my entire life. I looked around the street, but there was no sign of Amanda. I called her immediately, but the phone went straight to voicemail. I carried Lily into the house, my hands shaking as I carefully lifted the chair. She slept soundly, unaware that her mother had left her. I called my parents, but the answers still make me sick to my stomach every time I remember them. "We told her not to have children," my mother said coldly. "She made her choice and now she's running away from her responsibilities." "What the hell is Amanda?" I asked, panicked. "What am I supposed to do? I don't know anything about raising a child." "She's a burden to you," my father said flatly. "We can't handle Amanda's mess anymore." "She left the baby with me, not you," I protested. "She's your granddaughter." "We never wanted to be grandparents," my mother replied. "Especially not with some guy's kid Amanda just met." They hung up, refusing to come to the house or help. I sat on the sofa, looking at the sleeping baby, feeling overwhelmed. Lily was crying with hunger, which scared me. I had nothing for her in this small apartment, no milk, no diapers, no supplies. I called Mark hoping he would bring something, but his reaction was even more shocked than my parents. "A baby? Her sister left her with you? That's crazy. Natalie, you need to call social services." I couldn't bear to call in the middle of the night. "She's my niece, Mark. Just help me buy some things. It's none of my business." This is exactly the kind of trouble her sister always creates. "Don't get in the way." I hung up, realizing I was completely alone. I carefully put Lily back in the car and drove to the nearest supermarket. Strolling the baby section in my nurse's uniform, I Googled formula for a 3-month-old and diaper sizes. An elderly woman who worked the night shift helped me pick out clothes, her eyes full of sympathy as I told her about my sudden situation of having to babysit. The first night was a madness of crying, checking milk temperature, and changing diapers. The next morning, I called my superiors to ask for emergency leave for the first time in 5 years, and they approved it without question. I filed a police report, but they didn't seem to care because there was a note. The law doesn't consider it a crime because the mother just left the child with relatives. Amanda wasn't missing, it was just her choice. The police took the information and warned me not to expect much. I hired a family lawyer, knowing that I would have to apply for temporary guardianship, a process that would take time and money. The first few days were a blur of mixed emotions. I was angry at Amanda for putting me in this situation, abandoning my child, without explanation. But looking at Lily with her small hands, her trusting eyes, my anger melted away, replaced by protective love. She came into the world as a burden but gradually became the center of my life. The first night, I made a makeshift crib from a drawer, slept on the sofa next to her, woke up every few hours because of her crying. Every night I fed her in the dark, looking at her peaceful face, I whispered a lifelong promise. I don't know what happened to your mother, but I will be here, making sure you are safe. 2 weeks passed, Amanda did not return. I had to make many changes to raise the baby, move to a 2-room apartment near the hospital, spend all my savings on moving, baby furniture, reduce working hours. Motherhood was suddenly different from what I had imagined. I learned with urgency, calling colleagues many times to ask how to handle fevers and fussy babies. Work became complicated, reduced to 30 hours a week, switched to the day shift, find a babysitter for Gloria, a nearby babysitter. My career path was put on hold indefinitely. My superiors were sympathetic but clearly a bit reserved. The legal process of applying for temporary guardianship was arduous and expensive. There was paperwork, official checks, multiple hearings. Because Amanda refused to formally transfer authority, it took much longer. I was fingerprinted, my house was searched, and my entire life was scrutinized for my suitability to care for my granddaughter. My family was extremely cold when they occasionally visited. My mother came, looked around the house with suspicion, complained that I was too tired, the house was a mess, and held Lily as if she were afraid of damaging it. You let her cry too much. But maybe you don't know any better. My father was aloof, standing in the door, arms folded, as if he had witnessed a disaster he had no choice but to witness. Whenever I asked for news about Amanda, he showed his anger. Once I frankly said, if there is any news, I will let you know first. I knew it was a lie. They had abandoned my sister and I and our niece in one phone call. Luckily, I had other support. My colleagues organized a party to welcome Lily, giving her necessary supplies. My neighbor, Mrs. Santiago, acted like a surrogate grandmother to help take care of her grandchild and taught her techniques for calming a fussy child. 3 months later, I hired a private investigator to find out where Amanda was. It turned out that she had gone to California, worked at a restaurant in San Diego for a while, and then disappeared. I was both relieved and heartbroken to learn that she was still alive but chose not to return. Despite all the difficulties, Lily developed well. She could roll over, sit, crawl, and say her first word, Nana, calling me. Each milestone was carefully recorded in a memory box for the future if Lily wanted to know about her childhood. A year passed, and her birthday party was not as grand as her friends because of lack of money, but there were still close friends, a cake made by Mrs. Santiago, balloons brought by my friend, and Lily happily jumped around covered in whipped cream. My parents refused to attend, citing being busy. I told myself, she is my world. The child who was considered a responsibility has become my real child, loved with all my heart. 5 years later, Lily started first grade. We had a fun morning routine of breakfast, choosing clothes, checking backpacks. She often woke up early, often hugging Hoppy the rabbit to bed and asking all sorts of questions about the school day. I switched to working as a nurse at another elementary school and not teaching children to maintain boundaries. Working office hours, taking holidays off, I could be with her more. The apartment was filled with drawings and pictures of our journey. Lily was curious, resilient, and creative every day. She loved building blocks and imagining her own worlds of characters. I prepared picture books to help her understand all kinds of families. Some lived with grandparents, some with 2 mothers and 2 fathers, some with 1 parent, and like Lily, with a loving aunt. My parents kept a quiet distance, visiting only a few times a year, often accompanied by criticism, giving gifts that didn't suit her taste, forcing her to wear ballet skirts when she loved dinosaurs and building blocks. My father was indifferent, asking about school but not playing. The coldness made Lily shy and quiet when her grandparents were around. My personal life almost stopped when I became a single mother. Dating was difficult, men withdrew when they learned about my situation. I focused on stability and balance for my child instead of finding a new relationship. I joined a single-parent club to learn, meet people. Lily became close to my friend's child, creating a trusted family of friends around. Finances were still a constant challenge. I took on an evening job as a medical consultant over the phone, saving up for my child's college tuition. Lack of sleep at night but investing long-term for the future. When Lily was 6 years old, her first trip to Disney World was a memorable one, her eyes melting when she saw her favorite characters. We came home with a photo album of precious memories, cherishing the simple life. Her artistic talent also emerged. Her teacher commented that she had an eye for detail. I encouraged her with drawing tools and visiting museums. She painted a rich imaginary world, reflecting my feelings for her. Lily's 5th anniversary with me made me reflect. Children's bookshelves instead of novels, test papers written on the refrigerator instead of invitations, schedules revolving around her events that have completely changed who I am and my life. I wouldn't want it any other way. Under my bed I kept letters I had written to Amanda, never sent because I no longer had an address, documenting Lily's milestones, things her mother should have known. Sometimes I wondered what Amanda thought of the daughter she left behind, whether she had regrets or found what she needed when she left so quickly that night. Suddenly Lily ran into the kitchen, holding a picture she had drawn herself, 2 big and small figures in the middle of a big red heart. "This is us, right, Nana?" "That's right. Because we are a heart family, not just a blood family." That's what the teacher said. A heart family is really the best. She affirmed with the certainty that only a 5-year-old can have. I hung the painting on the refrigerator next to my other masterpieces, a celebration of a relationship built on love, not blood. For years past, we lived peacefully in the daily rhythm, school, summer vacations, festivals, the little moments that make up family life. Lily was in 4th grade, had a lot of friends, loved art and science, always curious. One Tuesday, while helping my daughter with a project on the solar system, my phone rang and I was about to turn it off. A strange yet familiar voice said, "Natalie, it's Amanda." I grabbed the phone and walked into my room. "Where are you? Are you okay?" "I'm fine, I'm here. Wanted to see you." We arranged to meet at the coffee shop the next day after Lily left for school. That night I was both nervous and relieved, telling a few lies to keep her from worrying. Amanda had changed a lot in 10 years, neat short hair, neat suits, luxury handbags. She told me about her recovery and rebuilding her life, successfully quitting drugs, getting a degree in graphic design, marrying Thomas. When I had my child, I was not strong enough to be a mother. I was heavily addicted throughout my pregnancy, despite trying to quit. After giving birth, I fell into depression, then relapsed. The day I left Lily, I had been using drugs for several days, afraid I would harm the child. Amanda sobbed as she looked at pictures of her growing up over the 10 years we were together. "She's so beautiful, and clearly happy. You did a great job, Natalie." I was filled with emotions, angry that she left, but also hopeful that we could build a new relationship between mother and child. Amanda asked to meet Lily. I consulted with a psychologist and arranged for the first meeting to take place at a children's museum, where she would feel most comfortable. Lily was shy, holding my hand as Amanda gently greeted her. "I'm your mommy's girl," Amanda said. She nodded. "But Nana is my real mom because she cares for me, loves me, and helps me learn." Amanda laughed and cried. "Exactly. I'm so lucky to have such a wonderful mom." Over the next few months, Amanda became a part of our lives through supervised visits that gradually grew longer. She respected my boundaries, didn't push me around, and always followed my wishes on how to care for the baby. The gifts she gave Lily showed that she was attentive to her interests. Then one day Amanda announced that she and her husband were moving to the city, taking jobs at a local design firm and buying a house near me. "We want to be closer to Lily," she said. Wisely, I began to worry, but I still thought it would be good for the baby to have a mother nearby. We had dinner together, on the surface smooth, but Thomas's eyes flashed something that troubled me. We want to take back Lily's parental rights now, Amanda said, but you can still see her freely. She belongs to her mother. I calmly replied, I'm the baby's mother, I've been taking care of her for 10 years, and you disappeared. Amanda said, I have blood ties, and you have a small apartment and 2 jobs. I tried to stay calm. She has everything she needs, including stability and love. The conversation ended tensely. Then my family joined in, having dinner at the old house. Amanda and Thomas were there. My parents said they had known about it for 3 years but kept it a secret. They thought Amanda had come back to life, so Lily should go back to her mother. They saw me as a hindrance, and I was deeply hurt by my parents' betrayal. On the way back, Lily asked softly, You said I might have to go back to Aunt Amanda? I choked up, No, I'm with Nana, she's my home. She cried, But Aunt Amanda is my real mother. I stopped the car, looked into her eyes, Nana and I are family, nothing can change that. She nodded, and made a vow with me that we've been through so many times, big and small. That night Lily had a nightmare. I held her and comforted her, determined to protect her to the end. The formality of Amanda's notice of custody came 3 weeks later, and it took me by surprise. The legal jargon, biological rights, termination of guardianship, best interests of the child, came up, and I felt a surge of anxiety. I did everything I could to prove our love for Lily. I collected school records, medical records, letters of recommendation from neighbors, teachers. To complicate matters, I discovered that my parents had provided false testimony, portraying me as intentionally hindering Amanda. I brought all the text messages and emails to prove the truth, disillusioning their false views. Lily began to show signs of anxiety, had trouble sleeping, cried when talking about moving, and her grades dropped. I took her to a psychologist for help. The specialist said she was afraid of losing her primary caregiver, and assumed that her mother had more power because she was related to her. A forced move could cause serious psychological damage. The detective did some additional work and found that Thomas had a history of violence, contrary to their simple statements. The couple's financial situation was also not as they said, the house was in debt, the business was losing money. I compiled everything into a confidential file and prepared it for submission to the court. The courtroom was filled with tension. Amanda and Thomas presented themselves as the perfect family, with plenty of material comforts. They admitted they wanted to keep Lily with the aim of giving her a traditional life, while I was sued for being too poor and unable to care for her. My parents continued to lie, saying I was preventing family reunion, while I was just maintaining a protective distance from my daughter. I had to grit my teeth and prove the love, care and stability we had, with sincere words for Lily and the help of friends and teachers as witnesses. Teachers and counselors confirmed the child's deep emotional attachment to me, and the risk of mental deterioration if moved to a new, unstable environment. I expressed from the bottom of my heart about every day we spent together, my love and responsibility for my child, even though we were poorer materially. I affirmed, he is my child, not because of blood, but because of unquestionable love and care. When the lawyer presented the confidential file, the judge's eyes changed, sternly investigating the truth. Amanda and Thomas were embarrassed, my parents were silent as if put in a difficult position. The judge warned of perjury and possible criminal proceedings. After the recess, the judge stated, although Amanda has feelings for her child, the financial and fraudulent motives are serious. Natalie has provided a loving, stable environment for Lily for the past 10 years. I hereby grant her custody, allowing Amanda controlled visitation. I was shocked and overwhelmed, knowing that the baby's family would continue to be with me, the woman who had been a mother every day and month. Amanda tearfully apologized, admitted her mistake, and wanted to build a proper relationship, not wanting to hurt anyone anymore. I was cold but also felt relieved. When I picked Lily up, she asked, "What did you do to Nana?" I knelt down and looked her straight in the eye. "I get to stay with Nana, everything is the same as before." She breathed a sigh of relief. The following days were a test of adjusting to modern family boundaries. My parents were limited to supervised visitation, no bad-mouthing or interference in how I raised the baby, no private communication with Amanda about Lily. Lily continued to work through her trauma, calling me Mom, and Amanda, Aunt, as she saw fit. Amanda gradually built a relationship as a close friend, not a replacement for me. Thomas gradually withdrew when his financial motives were exposed. I also got my career back, promoted to school health coordinator with a more stable income and hours that allowed me to take better care of my children. We moved to a larger apartment, giving Lily the freedom to grow her flowers as she dreamed. Amanda asked to meet privately, sincerely apologizing. She had ended things with Thomas, focused on rehab and her career, wanted to be a good mother in a new way, without competition. Our family relationship is not perfect, but we accept it and work together to keep Lily's best interests in mind. Lily, 11 years old, healthy and confident, wrote me a birthday card, to my mother, the one who chose me every day for 11 years. A biological mother creates relatives, but love creates family. Thank you for being my real mother. Looking back at the journey from the rainy night I took in the abandoned baby until today, I understand that life does not go according to plan, but it was that turning point that gave me the greatest gift, a real family. The definition of family,